Welcome to Early Research Stories, the podcast that brings you inspiring stories from diverse voices in the world of learning and instruction. Join us as we dive into the latest trends, research breakthroughs, and insights shaping the field today. Hosted by Chris Castro, Rachel Shanks, and Leonie Johan, this is your inside look at the heart of educational research.
I am Chris Castro, and this is a special episode for the 40th anniversary of EARLI. I'm very proud to be here with Erik de Corte, the founder of our EARLI, the European Association for Research on Learning and Instruction. So what was happening in Europe 40 years ago that you and colleagues decided to establish EARLI?
Well, the major reason was that at that time there was not something like research on learning in Europe. And what I did, I started to send letters to several people like Glaser, Resnick, Biner, Eisner, and so forth. And I got from all these people a positive reception.
Okay.
And then around 1980, I had that year when I met Dick Snow, professor from Stanford University, who was interested in Europe. And he came several times to Europe. And he had a position in England. From there, he could go to the countries in Europe.
Okay.
And when he was interested to see what is happening in Europe, and then I said, well, in Europe we need to install a system for have contacts with each other because we not have that. We need
A network.
a network, we need a platform.
What were the main challenges in setting up a European research community on learning and instruction 40 years ago?
Yeah.
What were the main challenges?
In the United States, we saw that this domain of learning and instruction was getting more and more important, and that we needed to have contact with this strand of research because it's important for the sake of education. So learning and instruction was a big topic. And that's why I said we need to have that in Europe as well. EARA, that is everything. That is
Yes.
That's everything.
Too big.
And that's what we did not want.
Okay.
And we
So the
said
focus
we
was
have to go on learning and instruction. And well, really doing research. And because there has been some people who said that we should more interested in the practice of education, we said okay, but we think that we should have good knowledge before we can give it to the. Okay. Of course, if you do that research, there is an idea that sometimes that research should be implemented and that is still, in my opinion, a problem. That's not easy to implement the results of the research.
You're telling me that AERA is too big. So why is it big? What's outside learning and instruction in AERA, for example?
Well, for example, in AERA, I think many people are interested in how the educational system works. Okay. That's something that we are not interested.
Okay.
But the things that are coming very close to learning, that we have, for example, in EARLI, we are very much interested in teacher education because that's coming close to learning and instruction. Yeah. But all things that have to do with the
school environment,
that's for us.
Okay.
We leave that aside.
So would you say that this conference, for example, 2025, 40 years after your inception, Is it still focused on learning and instruction, or there's yes?
Yeah.
Not like broader interests on classroom management or things like that?
If you look in the program, these things are not our meal thing.
The first conference was organized around 6 themes: developmental processes, cognitive motivational interactions, problem solving, instructional and social interactions, discourse processes, individual differences, and instruction. So it's learning and instruction, but it's a very broad way to see that. What are you most proud of when you think about how the association has evolved over these 40 years? Maybe there are many things, but maybe you can mention some.
One thing is, for example, that there has been started the jury. Thus the researchers, the young researchers.
Yes.
That is, I think, something very important that has started in 1995.
10 years after the
10
first
years after
conference.
the first,
Okay.
And we also make sure that in the conferences for the jury, there are also some senior researchers that are there to help them. And it is, I think, very important to continue to invest in the young researchers. That's also why there is an award that will be given to now with my name.
Okay,
Thus, because this is exactly, the award is for young people.
So since we're talking about jury and junior researchers, what would be one piece of advice to the next generation of early researchers?
One of the things that I find very important, I think that there is a problem with the specialization that people are looking to narrow.
To niche.
And that, I don't like it. Myself, I always have been said, you need to think of the whole picture.
Okay.
And for example, that's why I've been involved in editors of the journals and so forth. And that I always have said, if I do that, I have contact with new things.
So, for example, people coming to EARLI conference, they should not choose their own expertise, but go to see the parallel sessions.
And this conference heeft this opportunity that you say in the program, well, I would this time, of course, go to my thing, but also look to some things that you say, yeah, I would like to have a bit more of what is going on there.
The first conference in 1985, 140 attendees. This one, 2025, 40 years later, about 2,500. So that means that the association has increased a lot.
It shows that we are doing things that make sense today. Otherwise, people would not come to here.
Yes.
More than 150 people from the US. That's not bad, eh?
Yes.
And I know some that who have seen this. I know that some of the people tell me this conference is much better than what we have in the United States. They say it's better than EARLI, for example.
Because it's focused on learning and instruction,
and that these people are coming and bring new people.
Do you have any final thoughts? Something you want to add before we finish?
Well, one of the things that it's a little bit a pity. In the beginning, for example, we have always said the EARLI is Western Europe. And we have tried to do something to give, for example, for people from, let me say, Czechoslovakia or so, that we say we give them a smaller fee for the conference and so that sort of thing.
There are people coming from Russia, for example. To this one.
But not many. It's very, and that is a pity that we have it's an European association, but it's especially Western Europe.
Well, because it started in the middle of the Cold War, right? 1985. So
Yes.
so yeah, we could do that now because the Cold War is over. But it was very difficult in
There
1985.
is the wall of Berlin.
Berlin Wall, yeah.
People would say, well, now everything will be,
Easy.
and it is not the case.
Yeah. So one thing for EARLI to work towards would be to incorporate more other
Yeah,
European,
if it is
Eastern
possible,
European.
but it's not easy.
Okay.
And I think that today it's a little bit, you should not,
Unstable.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think if it's Europe, that's also Europe. Yeah?
Yes.
And that is not working.
Okay.
And in some way, it's, for example, France is not good represented in EARLI. Eh?
Oh yeah, the numbers are low. Yeah.
Very low.
Would that be because of the culture, the language?
So that has something to do with it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Erik. So that's the end of our talk. Thank you very much for your.
Okay, it was okay for you.
Yes. Did you like the experience? Yes.
Yeah.
Listeners, make sure to subscribe, follow us on social media, and stay tuned for the exciting episodes we have coming your way. See you next time on the EARLI Research Stories podcast.